AITA for telling a 15-year-old that Santa isn't real as a teacher? I am an English teacher for grade 10, 16-year-olds, and my class is reading Animal Farm, which is an allegory of the Russian Revolution. And in the novella, the animals are very unintelligent and gullible, easily falling for propaganda. One of the horses couldn't even learn the alphabet past the letter D. One of my students, a 15-year-old girl, asked me why the animals were falling for propaganda so easily. And I replied that they haven't developed critical thinking skills yet. For example, you probably believed in Santa when you were younger. But as you got older, you developed critical thinking skills and realized that it would be impossible for Santa to deliver 1 billion gifts in one night. She then replied with, "Wait, what? Santa isn't real?" She looked around her table group and asked the other students, "You believe in Santa, right?" The other kids stared at each other and a few of them broke into laughter. I saw one student putting his finger to his mouth, making a shish gesture to another student while giggling. She seemed pretty upset for the rest of the class. So I basically told one of my sophomore year students that Santa wasn't real, assuming that she would already know as a 15-year-old. Unrelated. The second you mentioned Animal Farm, all I could think of was that scene in Archer when he's arguing with Lana, thinking there's a literal animal farm in space. And she says it's a book. No, it isn't, Lana. It's an allegorical novella about Stalinism by George Orwell. And spoiler alert, it sucks. Quote, "She was screwing with you, playing dumb for laughs and attention. You didn't ruin anything. And her joke was typical sophomore humor. There was no fault here. Nah. I feel like you could stand to hone your critical thinking skills a bit more yourself because you're being pranked. Nah. If I believe this story is true, does that mean I lack critical thinking skills? But at the same time I want to believe because it's funnier if it's real. Nah, but with a caveat. In the future, I wouldn't recommend using the exact argument you used as an anti-example of critical thinking though. And here's why. I'm not saying I ever believed in Santa, but people I've heard about who did believed he had a little something called magic. If you believe both that Santa existed and that he had magical powers, it explains any illogicalness of the logistics of Christmas Eve. Thus, the girl isn't being illogical, sheltered definitely, naive, blissfully ignorant, too, but not illogical. Why not use a real-life example that doesn't involve any sort of belief over a holiday, religion, etc.? My son believed long past the time when I thought he would. All because of NORAD. Every year at Christmas, they do a Santa tracker. And kids can even call to see where he is. He was fascinated with all things space and aviation. And surely an agency as legit as NORAD wouldn't lie, right? I believed in Santa till I was 13 and 1/2 because my home life was so broken and torn up. I needed to believe in something. Something good. Something to wake up to on Christmas morning from a very freshly divorced household. And had going to court on my 13th birthday that year for ugly custody hearings. It came to a head when my mom said she wouldn't be able to afford presents at Christmas. But we would have a nice meal, at least I told her not to worry about it as Santa would be coming. And that's when she had to tell me. I ended up asking my dad for cash before Christmas so I can buy stuff for myself since I already knew. He gave me $40 and I spent every dime on my younger siblings. Stocking stuffers, candy, and cards. All from Santa. I accidentally did this to a 13-year-old friend. When a Santa-themed radio ad came on, I said something like, "Isn't it really cool how all the adults pretend when stuff like this comes on?" And I have been haunted by the look on his face in the rearview mirror since. Look, my first thought is the kids are taking the piss and it's a well-planned con. But second thoughts say kids aren't that smart or coordinated. Third thoughts wonder where you draw the line on what is and isn't real. So you've eliminated Santa. What about the Easter Bunny? Krampus? Period Fairy? Tooth Fairy or Veruca Gnome? What about Jesus? God, Aquaman, or any of the other super friends? So I'll reserve my judgment based on where on the scale you lie. YTA because of your Animal Farm analysis. The whole point of the book is to highlight the power of propaganda and how people in positions of power can control what people believe through manipulation and lies. Critical thinking doesn't necessarily protect you from this. You're NTA, just more gullible than an Animal Farm horse. First world with elementary and middle school kids, and no matter how old they are, I tell them Santa is real and I never back down. I also tell the younger ones I'm 451 years old. One asked, "Did you know Santa? Like, were you married?" So I said yay, and now they've made up a whole story about how Santa divorced me because I cheated on him. Ha 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 ha, let's keep the dream alive, be people. Yikes bro, you should have used a different analogy. NTA. Odds are she was faking. If not, you did her a favor. I don't think any teacher should have to give a Santa spoiler alert past 6th grade. I was finally told by my mom when I was 13. But the couple of years leading up to that was more of a, I better play it safe than sorry. It didn't help that when I was in elementary school my folks did something that, without my ability to give it critical thought, proved beyond a shadow of a doubt he was real. Basically I received exactly what I wrote Santa for despite refusing to tell the folks what was in the letter. I don't mind. It was all wonderful memories. Okay, these comments are acting like still believing at 12 is weird. I still believed until I was 11 and cried when I found out the truth, loudly crying, although TBF I did deliberately not think on it and I didn't question it at all for fear of ruining the magic LMAO. Till. Teacher thinks kid is slow. Kids know teacher is slow. In ta, though regardless. Wouldn't have been your fault if they weren't playing you lol. You're an English teacher? Your post title sure doesn't reflect it. The way you wrote the title says that Santa is not real as a teacher. Try. As a teacher. AITA for telling a 15-year-old that Santa isn't real? Quote, as for the act of revealing Santa to be a fictional character, it wasn't your best moment. But NTA. YTA for making up dumb stories.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.